Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we will be shooting at 5-gallon water jugs at 300 yards with a mix of 223 and 5.56 ammo, and we will do so with this rifle from Rock River Arms. It is their R3 competition rifle featuring an 18-inch, match-grade stainless steel fluted barrel with a 1-in-8 twist. We'll start by taking a quick look at the ammo to be tested and then come right back out here to see how they perform. The bullets that we will be testing today from left to right are the 223 55-grain full metal jacket from Winchester, the 223 62-grain full metal jacket from Federal American Eagle, the 5.56 62-grain green tip from PMC, and the 68-grain match hollow point from Frontier. While they may look the same from this angle, once we take them apart, the differences become more clear. Notice how the bullets grow in length as we move from left to right, and notice that while both of the 62-grain bullets are right next to each other, it is obvious that the 62-grain green tip is closer to the length of the 68-grain, while the 62-grain from Federal resembles an overgrown 55-grain bullet. I chronographed all 4 rounds on the same day as the testing, and here are the numbers at the muzzle. The main thing I would like for you to notice about these numbers is that the 68-grain hollow point is dead last when it comes to velocity, and is in 3rd place in terms of foot-pounds of energy. But let's see how these numbers change when we go out to 300 yards. At 300 yards, the 68-grain hollow point is now in 3rd place when it comes to velocity, but more importantly, it is in 1st place in terms of foot-pounds of energy. Also of note is that the 55-grain bullet stands alone as the underperformer in terms of energy at just 491 foot-pounds, while both of the 62-grain bullets and the 68-grain are all bunched together in the low to mid 600 foot-pound range. In terms of which one of these 3 will perform the best, do we bet on the 68-grain bullet since it has the most amount of energy overall, or do we bet on the 62-grain green tip since it will hit with the greatest amount of speed? Let's go find out. We'll be shooting at this 5-gallon water jug at a distance of 300 yards using 223. 55-grain full metal jacket from Winchester. Well, we're walking up right now to the 5-gallon water jug that was just hit at a distance of 300 yards using 223 55-grain full metal jacket, just some Winchester white box. From what I can tell here, I think I hit him lower than I would have wanted. Maybe 6-7 inches lower than I was hoping to. That may have affected the results somewhat. And it looks like just pretty much a nice clean exit on the back side. It did lift the water jug off the ground. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 inches it lifted it off the ground, which is noteworthy. This thing does weigh about 41 pounds or so. Almost 19 kilograms is what it weighs. And again, that's at a distance of 300 yards. Also, when you take a look at this exit hole, it almost looks like that bullet may have been tumbling coming out of there. Not exactly sure, but one thing's for sure, it's not a nice clean little 22 caliber hole on the exit. That much we know. It may have been tumbling. Hard to say. We'll be shooting at this 5-gallon water jug at a distance of 300 yards using 223 62-grain full metal jacket from Federal American Eagle. Well, I'm walking up right now to the 5-gallon water jug that was just hit at a distance of 300 yards using 223 The ammunition was the 62 grain full metal jacket by Federal American Eagle. It looks like I hit this guy maybe about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches higher than the paper is. So at 300 yards, we're about 1 inch above paper at 300. So I think we'll have to take that for now. As far as the damage on this guy, it looks like the bullet more or less just ripped right out the back. It's hard to know if that thing was tumbling or not, but there certainly is an interesting looking gash on the back side of this guy. No other damage other than it blew the lid sky high as well. And there was a carrying handle on the back. It blew that off of there as well. I think this is it over here. We'll be shooting at this 5-gallon water jug at a distance of 300 yards using 5.56 62 grain green tip from PMC, sometimes known as their PMC X-Tac. Well, I'm walking up right now to the 5-gallon water jug that was just hit at a distance of 300 yards using 5.56 62 grain PMC X-Tac, also known as the green tip bullet. It would appear that I hit just a little bit high. I was about 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches above paper. That's the entrance hole right there, I do believe. Not much to really see here. I mean, it blew the top right off of it, obviously. On the back side, somewhat of an exit right there. There was a handle on this thing at one point. That handle is gone. I don't know if there's any bullet fragments in there or not. I'll look a little bit off camera and see if I can find any. We'll be shooting at this 5-gallon water jug at a distance of 300 yards using a 223 68 grain match hollow point from Frontier. Well, I'm walking up right now to the 5-gallon water jug that was just hit at a distance of 300 yards using 68 grain hollow point open tip match from Frontier. Let's take a look and see where he got hit. I think he got hit pretty close to center, but maybe a little low. Let's take a look. Maybe about 2.5 to 3 inches low and a little bit to the left. But it seems like regardless of where the shot placement was, there was enough energy there to really pretty much lift this guy off the ground. And I believe that that bullet just probably ripped right on through the back side. Let's see what it looks like on the back. There's your exit side right there. And there is some type of hydrostatic damage. I mean, the whole bottom looks like it wanted to come apart, honestly. And then the back handle is missing as well. This is the exact moment of impact with the 223 62 grain full metal jacket before we start to zoom in, also known as frame 1. This is frame 1 now that we have zoomed in and the temporary body cavity can be seen just to the left of the orange target. And here in frame 2, we see the temporary body cavity really starting to expand. Here is the exact moment of impact with the 5.56 62 grain green tip before zooming in. And here is frame 1 now that we have zoomed in. While it may be difficult to spot the temporary body cavity, it is clear to see that the top half of the water jug is being completely severed. In frame 2, the explosion has begun. Then, skipping ahead to frame 4, we see the apex of the explosion. In fact, we see the epitome of what hydrostatic damage does. In a nutshell, it turns everything upside down and inside out. This is the exact moment of impact with the 223 68-grain hollow point before zooming in. And here in frame 1, now that we have zoomed in, we actually see much more of an implosion than an explosion. In frame 2, the implosion continues, and we are reminded of Newton's third law, which tells us that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In frame 3, the implosion has faded and the explosion has begun. Skipping ahead to frame 7, we see the apex of the explosion.